And welcome to Screentime, movie streaming and everything in between. I'm Gary Tanguay, along with Drew Yanno, who's a little dressed down today. Listen, I've known you a long time.
Yep.
You've been a college professor, been an attorney. I have never seen you in a plain t-shirt.
And I'm not in my underwear either. This is in keeping with today's show.
Yeah.
And in honor of Jeremy Allen White, who is the star of The Bear, which we're going to talk about today. And I want to honor him because it's a great show.
And he wears a t-shirt. That's the only.
Wears a t-shirt in every scene,
every scene.
basically. But I noticed, and they said, I'm going to wear one. What the hell?
Costumes are easy on that show. So The Bear, which is streaming on Hulu, it is an FX production. It is about a young chef, a Beard Medal winner, as you mentioned, played by Jeremy Allen White, who's known as Carmy in the show.
Bearzada.
Carmy Bearzada returns home to run his family's sandwich shop. And it is called The Bear because his nickname is Bear. Like his sister calls him Bear, his Uncle Jimmy calls him Bear, everybody else calls him Carmy. And then, so this sandwich shop in Chicago, family style, which has been run by his brother.
Before that, his mom and pop.
And his mom and pop. His brother commits suicide and leaves the shop to him. So he has to come back from New York City, where he's this great chef, and run the family business. And I'll tell you, I think it is a fantastic show. Jeremy Allen White, of course, he was in Shameless, played Lip in Shameless. Similar character, similar tone, but he hits it out of the park. And you watched the first episode and you weren't that sure on it the first time, right?
No, I watched way back in, what was it, the fall or something? And
yeah.
And you and my daughter both said, you've got to see this. You got to keep watching. So I did. And I'm going to tell you what I think. The Bear is a perfect example of why the movies are dead. The movies are no longer the predominant form of storytelling. I mean, everybody's watching us, you, me, everybody. In our lives, up until now, the predominant form of storytelling was movies. That's what we all concentrated on. To a lesser extent, TV, books, theater, even further away. But it's now we had our pod about movies are dying, and we went through the whole thing. And this is an example. You couldn't have pitched this as a movie in Hollywood. You're just describing what you just did. A guy's a chef. He comes back from New York. His brother's killed himself. It's a sandwich shop, and he's going to take over the sandwich shop. And I can hear the producers now. They'd be, well, that's not a story. That's a premise. That's not a story. I don't understand. What does he want? What's his goal? And they'd be doing the whole thing. And you'd have to get it done in 2 hours, and it wouldn't work. You couldn't do service to these characters in 2 hours. And it couldn't have been network television because it couldn't have been, like a comedy, like 24 minutes, for every episode. And it couldn't have been, the network dramas because they wouldn't allow what this show needed, which is the rawness of it, the swearing, they never would have put this on TV. Streaming does this, and it's why streaming is the predominant form of storytelling. And here's your perfect example, The Bear.
So what hooked you after the first episode, other than me and Megan telling you to watch it?
Well, it has three things. For a show, it has a great premise. We just described it. It's a simple thing, but there's characters.
Oh, are there?
We all want characters.
Great characters.
We watch these shows. What do we talk about? We talk about the characters. It's got a stable of great characters. It's got great writing. I mean, just phenomenal writing and great acting. So those characters, the actors just do a great job with the characters. I read somewhere that the woman who plays Sydney said it was all on the page, which is a great expression.
Well, let's talk about her for a minute. I mean, Sydney is played by Ayo Edebiri. She's a young actor, and her role is she shows
from Boston, by the way. She's from Boston.
Oh, she is. I didn't know that.
She's from Boston. Went to Boston Latin.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excellent. Good research, Drew Yanno. Well, she's fantastic, and she fits in perfectly because she's there because Carmy's there.
Yeah,
she is a terrific cook. she idolizes the bear. She idolizes Carmy because he's a beard medal winner, and she wants to learn from the best. And she's a bit of a maverick. She has trouble fitting in the culinary world, but she's very talented and she wants to learn from him. And what I appreciate about her character is, in the past, a character like her, a young woman coming in, good intentions, they were perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like every great, and the actor is terrific. She's a terrific actor. Her character is flawed, like everybody else. Yeah. And that's what makes the characters so rich. Every character is flawed, likable, but flawed.
Well, and again, Carmy,
right?
Jeremy Allen White. Yes, he's named one of the top chefs in America, best new chefs in America. But there's more to it, because you see in his backstory through flashbacks that it wasn't all glamour. And so he's flawed and hurt and scared and everything else. And he hasn't talked to his brother in 2 years. And I don't want to ruin it for people because you haven't seen it. You got to watch it. But I mean, like you said, they're not perfect. And
they're not perfect. So to set it up and to get people involved again is that, he wonders, there's a mystery with his brother. He never understood why his brother sent him away. His brother said, you can't work in the family business anymore. And there's a reason for it. And if you watch the entire series, by the time you get to the final episode, you understand the reason.
Yes.
You get it. And there's a terrific reveal in the final episode that is so big and comes out of nowhere that I had to sit there for 30 seconds and actually think about this and kind of just process it. So that's why it's worth the trip. His brother, who again committed suicide, he wanted his younger brother to run this business. And he set him up to run it in a way that we don't expect.
Yes.
Which is terrific. So another problem is that when Carmy comes in to take over the restaurant, he's $300,000 in debt to a loan shark known as Uncle Jimmy, played by Oliver Platt.
Well, he's not. Michael was.
Well, Michael was, but now he is.
Uncle Jimmy comes in and says, hey, it's your debt now.
Right.
And, so
it
shouldn't be that way, but it is.
Yeah. And again, a payoff at the end. But the other actors I want to mention, in Lionel Boyce, who's Marcus, Liza Colin-Zayas is Tina, Eben Moss Backrack, who plays Richie, the cousin. And the thing that I find really interesting here,
he's
Drew,
great, by the way.
What's that?
He's great, by the way.
Oh, they're phenomenal. Abby Elliott plays his sister. This guy, Matty Matheson, plays Neil. He doesn't work there. He just fixes things. He never leaves.
A real life chef, by the way. He's a real life chef with a restaurant in Toronto that's supposed to be like the hottest restaurant.
I wonder if he's a consultant. That's so
Whether
awesome.
That's formal or not, he probably, contributed. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's great knowledge. So the thing that amazes me about this, and get your thoughts, would you say that 80% of it is shot in the kitchen?
Oh yeah. This could have been a play almost. Would have been tough to stage everything, but it's internal. I mean, it's inside. It's in one room. There's a lot of great Chicago scenes set in Chicago. I love Chicago. It's a great city. But yes, it's in that kitchen and it's chaotic because restaurants are chaotic. I worked for a brief time in a restaurant. I washed dishes and I bussed tables. And, I wasn't a chef, but, the chefs hated people like that. But it's all inside here. And, they take you out enough so that you feel like you're not trapped in there. But at the same time, they want you to be trapped in there because they want you to feel the chaos. And it's, a lot of shouting, a lot of moving around, a lot of moving parts. Yeah.
And then not only does the character of Sydney, he wants to become a great chef, but also the subplot of Lionel Boyce, who plays Marcus, he wants to become a great baker. Yep. And remember the episode where he's trying to make the perfect donut? I mean, this poor guy, he just wants to make the perfect donut. And Carmy's screaming at him, dude, come on. You got to make some bread. Make the cake.
All he
right?
wants is a chocolate cake.
Make the cake. We're serving cake. Make the goddamn cake. And Marcus is trying to make like the perfect donut. And there's something romantic about food. I mean, being Italian, I mean, there's something, I mean, it's something very romantic about it. Like the Kitchen Confidential book, which was terrific. You know, there's something just so compelling about the kitchen and great food.
I think what I loved about it is, I mean, the last episode is entitled Brajol. I can't tell you how many times I watched my mother and my grandmother make Brajol.
What
They
exactly
use
is it?
Italian words that I know, and it's just, it's very realistic, I thought. And they show the chicken piccata that his mother made, lemon chicken piccata. Because the sisters, this is these small touches. The sister's on a phone with him, and they have a tough relationship. And she's cooking while she's talking to him, and he says, "What are you making?" He says, "Mom's chick." She says, "Mom's chicken," and he writes it down. Lemon chicken piccata, because he's always thinking of something. And of course, Sydney wants to make the risotto, right? Which plays a part in the thing. It's very good.
Some of the funny things about it though too is he owes the $300,000 to Uncle Jimmy. He has to start doing like birthday parties, like just anyway to make money.
Just to do a bachelor party.
Uncle Jimmy's son, I think, or somebody at once has a stag party, so they close the restaurant for the night, the sandwich shop, and they have it there. The other one is they went to oh no, Uncle Jimmy's. I got confused. Uncle Jimmy's son or little kid had a birthday party, so they go to the house to
feed the kids.
And
don't give it away.
I won't give it away. But this is the type of stuff that happens.
He does something that makes it memorable.
Yeah, right. So they have something going on to just keep the restaurant open. And again, they flash back to this guy, being a beard medal winner, the top chef in the country. Interesting enough, as I looked on IMDb, but I didn't notice it, Joe McHale played that New York City chef.
The guy was screaming at him. Yeah.
Who's in his nightmares. And I was like, I didn't even recognize the guy.
Yeah. The glasses and stuff.
So check out The Bear. I don't know if a lot of people are watching it. I mean, it's picking up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it was
steam.
hotter than a pistol this summer and fall.
Was it really?
It really was. It has huge fun. Look, he won a Golden Globe. I don't know if he won the SAG. He got nominated. I think he won the SAG. I mean, that's how good he is. I mean, there's a scene, I think it's in the last episode, when he goes to Al-Anon because his brother was an addict and probably an alcoholic, and he delivers a monologue. They ask him if anybody wants to get up and speak, and he goes up. And I'm telling you, that scene alone, give him the award. It's phenomenal.
Watch The Bear.
Yeah, and you know who else is in it? There's a guy named Rick Wataska who plays Paul, the husband of Sugar.
Right.
He's the guy in the Progressive commercial with Dr. Rick. You remember those Progressive commercials? Don't be like your parents.
Right.
He's the guy. He was in a bunch of them early, and he's in the elevator one this year. You see on all the football games. You had to have seen that one.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Rick's in the elevator with the guy. That's him.
He's great. He's great too.
Everybody's great. And Molly Ringwald. Speaking of Al-Anon, she's in Al-Anon, but there's a scene in Al-Anon where she delivers. She's good, gets up to speak, and I love it because it's the Chicago thing, right? And,
right. It's all good. The Bear. Also coming up on our YouTube channel, and check it out wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to have our top 5 movies or shows with an animal's name in it. So make sure you check that out.
And I'm going to tease something because I'm going to tell you what our next show is going to be, but I'm not going to tell you. Oh,
good. I'm glad you're telling everybody else before you tell me, but that's fine.
I'm not going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell you afterwards.
Oh.
But, I feel like we get on the show and we gush about stuff. And, we should, because if it's good, you should gush. I mean, I didn't expect to gush on this until I watched the whole thing. But there's a couple of things that we should talk about that are pretty popular now that I think suck. And I want the opportunity to say that I think they suck. And I don't know what everybody's talking about.
And that's what we're going to.
That's a tease. Our next one is that. And I'm not in my underwear. I promise you. I have shorts on, but I'm not in my underwear. This is in honor of Jeremy. You did a great job, Jeremy. And it's perfect.
Well, I think you should wear the t-shirt. It makes you look tough, and you're going to tear some people up. And the episode is going to be entitled "Why Drew Thinks These Shows Suck."
That could be good.
That'll work.
Happy to do it.
All right, for Drew Yanno, I'm Gary Tanguay. Again, check out all our episodes on our YouTube channel, Screentime, at Drew and Gary on Twitter. Also, follow us on Instagram as well. And again, also on our YouTube channel, we'll have our top 5 films with animals' names in them. A lot of great feedback we had on the action movies, so we appreciate it. Keep your thoughts coming. We'll see you next time.
All right, Chef.